I learned about Serbia just from the internet. I have no family or heritage in Serbia at all, but one thing I did know about is a car from Serbia called the Jugo. It came from Yugoslavia, of course, because they sold that in the United States, and it was a very famous car. It was very famous for being bad, and I made a video about how I wanted to buy one because I'm a big car guy, and that was my introduction to Serbian culture. And so I started making videos about that car, and that spun off into making videos about Serbian music and food and things like that. And I had gained quite a large Serbian audience. And so when I visited for the first time last year, I was a little prepared. But one thing that was funny was, I was kind of famous here right as I arrived. So I don't know that I've ever been able to experience, and I probably never will, be able to experience like kind of in its purest sense, because I'm pretty well known around here, and so I think I get a lot of special treatment. But that was kind of how I discovered it, and then eventually I decided I was going to move here because, funny enough, and this is the absolute truth, is this is where the opportunity is for me personally in the sort of industry that I'm working in. And so it's kind of funny that there's an American moving to Serbia because there's opportunity here, but there is. And America is quite saturated when it comes to social media influencers, marketers, and experts. And also, the population at large is far better educated on how social media works and what the platforms do and things like that, as opposed to here. I come here to Serbia, and there's a much less understanding about this sort of field of work in general. And so not only have I been able to excel here as a social media influencer because I'm a foreigner, because of the novelty of that, but because of the knowledge and the culture that comes with, I think this is great. Good food, good drinks, good people, great energy, so much fun. The cost of living is low as compared to what I'm used to. I know in Belgrade it's much higher than the rest of the country, but I have actually in the last year been all over Serbia. I've been to Vojvodina, all the way down. We did a road trip to Macedonia and to Bulgaria. And so we kind of went through the whole southern sort of section and area, and we've done some work down there. And there's just fascinating things around every corner to a foreigner. There's just fascinating things in the way of language, architecture, culture, and even the difference between Vojvodina and southern Serbia can be pretty stark. Man, I really like sarma. Sarma is not served at every restaurant, and it's one of those places where if I see it on the menu, I'll pick it out and I'll order that because that's kind of special. And to me, it's kind of like uniquely, there's not a single restaurant in the United States where you could get sarma. I think even if you go into a more like a Balkan place in America, they probably wouldn't serve that. So I'm always looking for uniquenesses, right? Things that are different. So it's like, what's your favorite? It's like, okay, cevapi, right? The other one we've made fun of is, where is Nikola Tesla from? Where is he from? Technically, he was born in Croatia, but that was Austro-Hungaria, and then he said he was Yugoslavian, whatever.
Trust me, he's from Serbia.
But he had American citizenship. But that's another one of those things that Croatians and Serbians argue about, right? Take, for example, me personally. I was born in North Dakota, right? I lived there until I was 5 years old. My mother was born in North Dakota. But I moved to South Dakota when I was 5, and I say South Dakota is my home. And so if you were to ask me where I was from, I would say South Dakota. That has been my home. And so if one day I create something amazing, and I do an amazing thing, and I die, and North Dakotans and South Dakotans are fighting, who does Džastis Rid belong to? Well, he was born in North Dakota. Well, he was raised in South Dakota. So once again, it comes down to, like I was telling you earlier, just trying to have a patience and understanding and saying, I find myself in conversations about these sorts of controversies. If somebody says to me, Nikola Tesla is Serbian, I go, you're right. You're absolutely right. And if I'm in, Croatia and they say, he's Croatian, I go, you're right, yes, of course, yes, you're right. I make a better living here. I have more friends here, and it's just true. I have more friends here than I did in the United States. And my life is much more interesting. It has much more joy and happiness, and there is much more purpose here. And so I think there's a lot of foreigners who come to foreign countries because they have a problem with America. You see this all over Europe, oh, I'm an American, I moved to Spain, and it's better than America in every way, and it's like, whoa, that's kind of extreme, as opposed to, I like to weigh things with the good and the bad and accept the whole experience, and the primary reason I moved here was for adventure, and if there's no adversity or problems or controversy or whatever, it's just not a very interesting story, and it's just not a very good adventure, People say, they're always trying to get me to say that Serbia is better than America, but the truth is that Serbia, I wouldn't say is better, but it's different, and that's why I prefer it at this time in my life. It's not because it is better, not because there's more money or the food is better or whatever, but because there's adventure to be found here. And it's been a great adventure exploring it, and it's going to continue to be a great adventure as it continues through whatever dumb things I say or trouble I get myself into. So, and I'm glad I have now at this point more than 1 million people following me to experience that with me. I'm dating a Serbian girl, and she asked me the other night, how do you feel about the Cyrillic alphabet? And I said, well, I think it's terribly inconvenient because I don't understand it. She's like, it takes 30 minutes to learn, you could learn it, it's very simple. The United States doesn't have its own alphabet. It doesn't have its own language. We took it from somebody else. And so, American isn't a language, but Serbian is. And the Cyrillic alphabet has a specific place and a part in the culture. And I think that's really fantastic. And that's one of the things that's sorely missing from the United States, is we don't really have so much purely American things.